Joining us now in the studio, Sally Doty, Director of the Mississippi Office of Broadband Expansion and Accessibility. Good morning, Sally. Thanks for coming in.
Good morning. Glad to be here.
You bet. So we had you come in today not to start by talking about broadband. I know that's what your regular job is these days. But you were involved in authored some legislation not too long ago when you were serving in the state Senate that created this program, the Mississippi Veterans Honor Medals program, and we just, the very first year, issued those medals to two very deserving recipients in your home county of Lincoln County.
We did. This was one of the last pieces of legislation that I authored and kind of shepherded through the legislative process. I left the Senate in 2020. That the COVID session, we call it, I refer to it as. But this was a program that was very important to me. Some other states had it. I had seen it and knew, my goodness, that we should do it in Mississippi as well. So worked with the Department of Veterans Affairs, and they have had it and put all the kind of bells and whistles on it and decided how the program was going to run. We wanted it to be revenue neutral, not really any sort of burden on the state, but we did want to have something to recognize our veterans of Mississippi.
Sure. And so these two warriors, Army Air Force Staff Sergeant Cecil Rhodes of Brookhaven, Army Sergeant R.E. Nettles of Bogachita, were presented these medals by you. You were involved. And we should also point out that you honored your father posthumously, right?
We did. You know, they were, the VA was kind enough to let me award the first medal since I authored the legislation. I appreciated that, and I did ask if I could include my father in that. But first, let me, Mr. Cecil Rhodes is 101.
Wow,
so
101.
101.
Well, if they served in that era, they're get on up there.
And we had the award ceremony a week ago, last Monday, and in Brookhaven at the VFW post there, and Mr. Cecil, he didn't really quite know when he got there. He didn't have all the details, but once he got there, he was like, "Oh my goodness, thank you so much!" And he stood up and gave the most wonderful speech.
That's awesome.
Had everybody in the room captivated. So he's just a tremendous member of our community in Brookhaven. I just cannot say enough about Mr. Cecil. He always was a great supporter of me when I was in office as well. So just love him. And then Mr. Nettles from Bogachita, he's 96. Does not look 96, and he was there as well. He was just a joy to know. He was in the Pacific Theater in World War II, and just so excited to honor those two guys. We think those are our only two living World War II vets in Lincoln County.
Oh, wow. And 96 and 101.
96 and 101. We had a tremendous turnout at the VFW post. And then I did honor my dad posthumously. Mm-hmm. Dad died in 2016, and my daddy was a tank commander in the Korean War. He was a country boy from Attala County who, enlisted before he could be drafted, he said, and served in Korea. And my dad said that he always, this was his quote, that he could drive anything from a mule to a tank. Yeah.
Charles Birchfield.
Charles
his
Birchfield.
Name, right?
Charles, and Dad's from Kosciuszko. Sure you got some listeners up there that Dad managed the water and light department in Kosciuszko for years and years and years. So, great guy.
A grateful nation thanks him and the other recipients and all of our veterans, of course. And wanted to have you on to talk about this because Memorial Day is coming up.
That's right. And
Monday.
Right. And really Memorial Day is different. It's to, honor those that we've lost, memorialize them. So a little bit different. But we did want to emphasize this award and kind of let you know a little bit about it. It is for any Mississippi veteran that was honorably discharged. Let's see, I got a few talking points from the VA Veterans Affairs Office this morning. It's available to any veteran that is a current resident of Mississippi, was a resident upon entering military service, or was a resident at the time of death, and served in any of the armed forces, and it also covers National Guard and Reserve.
Okay.
So the applications are online.
Well,
Pardon me.
What was the inspiration for you to draft this bill?
Well, I had seen it in another state, and just knew it was something we should have. Why should Louisiana have this and Mississippi not have this? We need to honor our veterans as well. It did take me a couple of years to get it through. So, sometimes some politics kills some good bills. And I'm trying to put that behind me. You know who you are. No, I'm joking. We got it through, and I just think it's going to be something very special because I think not only certainly we want to recognize their service, but so many of these men and women came back to the communities and were such pillars and rocks of our communities, and just a lifetime of service, really.
So did they share any particular stories that really caught your attention?
They did not share any stories. They really did not. But Mr. Cecil he got up and spoke and thanked everyone, and he even made a joke, said, now I was worried y'all were going to put me on KP duty today.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
And these are the kind of guys, I know my dad was like this, who really never talked about it and was very reluctant to talk about his service. And, I was pushing him one time, and he said, I saw things that nobody should see.
Right. Yeah. Experienced the same with my father, who served in World War II, and my father-in-law in particular. Mm-hmm. And same deal. And it was... I was so interested. I will say I did push them, and in the right frame of mind and mood, they would open up about it. And what I told them is, I know you don't want to, and I don't want to make you uncomfortable, but it's this history.
It is,
and we need to pass that on. So I've passed that on to my kids, and they've passed it on as well. So both involved. All right. Well. Appreciate you putting that legislation together. I think it's a great program, and I got to tell you, seeing the photos that I did of the local paper featuring those two individuals there, it just makes you proud to be an American.
It does.
And they are not forgotten. Please let them know we are very grateful for their service, and your fathers as well.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And,
all right,
and they do.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
All these veterans appreciate this as well, and I think this is an opportunity for us to honor them. And again, if you'll go to the Department of Veterans Affairs website, it's under, I think they said it's under the benefits tab. And then you can go to it and find the application. A family member can apply on behalf of your veteran and get this medal for them. Maybe do a presentation at church or somewhere at the VFW, somewhere, make it special. So it's just another tool for us to use to honor them.
And it's important for our young people to know about this as well, and the service that especially that generation provided.
Yeah, I don't know if you're aware of this, but our SuperTalk station, I'm from Brookhaven, Lincoln County. They do a veterans program every week. I can't think of the name. It's not Unsung Heroes, but it's something about heroes. And it's on every week, and they get veterans in, and mainly our older veterans who come in, and they do tell stories about their service. And it is wonderful. And so many of those veterans, they've been doing it for years. And so many of those veterans have passed on now. And so we've got their stories preserved.
Sure.
Very important. I love listening to that program on our local SuperTalk station down in Brookhaven.
Cool. Mm-hmm. All right, we got a couple of minutes left. You got to give us an update on the broadband build out while you're here.
I will. So the legislature established the Office of Broadband for Mississippi, BEAM, Broadband.
Expansion
and accessibility of Mississippi. Thank you for
the acronym.
Thank you. There are a lot of acronyms floating around. So we have an official broadband office. I'm at the public utilities staff now. I'm going to be moving over, and I've got a couple of other people moving over with me. We're going to be advertising for some jobs. But what we're going to be engaged in right off the bat is some mapping and determining exactly where service is needed in Mississippi, where our served and underserved areas are. The federal government's doing a mapping project right now, and we want to make sure they're correct.
Okay.
So that's our first order of business, but we are busy and all around the state.
Good. Looking forward to seeing more of that rolling out and getting everybody connected up.
We plan on it.
Appreciate you coming on, Sally, and great work on that bill. And again, I'm so proud to see these first recipients, and look forward to that every year.
Thank you. We really appreciate it.
Sally Doty, Director of Mississippi Office of Broadband Expansion and Accessibility, has been our guest. We'll take a break right here. We'll come back with more. Aaron Rice joins us at 12:05. Stay with us.